For years, Texas farmers and ranchers knew the positive impact a state diagnostic laboratory could have on livestock and poultry health. They lobbied hard for legislation that would bring together professionals, facilities, and equipment to conduct tests that would aid veterinarians in the diagnosis and treatment of animal diseases. So in 1967, the Texas A&M Veterinarian Medical Diagnostic Laboratory was established with the mission of providing diagnostic services to Texas livestock owners and their veterinarians. 50 years later, that mission still holds true. Only now, our impact reaches across Texas, throughout the United States, and around the world. In September of 1969, under the leadership of Agency Director Dr. William Sipple, TVMDL officially opened its doors for business.
The day the lab first opened its doors, the lab was under construction.
Dr. Sipple, who hired the first crew, was a very good administrator. He always wanted to be at the forefront, instrument-wise and people-wise, but he had a vision for the lab and really laid the foundation.
In its first month of operation, TVMDL recorded 6 cases. However, over the next year, that number quickly grew to over 400 cases a month. The laboratory's usefulness was quickly realized throughout the state, and just 6 years later, in 1975, at the urging of the cattle feedlot industry, the second TVMDL laboratory was opened in Amarillo.
The cattle feeders started about that time, and the first director was Leslie Ball. He lobbied heavily that what the industry really needs was they need a lab that can provide a service every day.
And I knew Dr. Sipple, who was our director in College Station. I'd made his acquaintance and let them know that whenever they were ready to start hiring, I wanted to hear from them.
It's extremely handy to drop in, interact with the people there, leave samples there for analyses, and have a ready face-to-face discussion and often a learning session from those who are present at the lab.
Throughout the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, TVMDL's reputation for fast, reliable test results and outstanding customer service continued to grow. In 1991, with the support of the Texas Poultry Federation, TVMDL assumed responsibility of the poultry laboratories in both Center and Gonzales, Texas.
Texas A&M's Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Lab is a keystone to the continued success of the agricultural industry in the state of Texas, and it goes beyond the borders of Texas. It's an $18 billion agricultural industry. That's what it's worth to the state on an annual basis. Every one of the people that work here is helping support millions and millions of dollars, thousands of jobs. They're protecting your health, they're protecting the health of your animals, whether they're your family's pets or the livestock that your take-home pay depends upon, the food supply, so that what you have to feed your family you know is going to be safe when you pull it out of the refrigerator in the morning. These are the essential pieces of what makes TVMDL such a valuable asset to the state of Texas. The majority of the testing we do is focused on that day-to-day routine stuff. But when the outbreaks happen, we're there to partner with our friends at Texas Animal Health Commission, Parks and Wildlife, USDA. We're there to provide them the testing services, the support they need to respond in a quick and effective manner to get ahead of the curve in managing a disease outbreak.
In the summer of 1974, an anthrax outbreak in Falls County, Texas resulted in the death of 236 animals at 48 different locations.
Where we had a helicopter land in our parking lot every morning with samples from dead cows. It was a very unusual situation because anthrax is endemic in certain areas of the state, and Falls County really wasn't considered. And why there was such a massive outbreak, I still don't know.
The outbreak in Falls County, Texas is the state's largest anthrax outbreak to date. TVMDL's ability to quickly test the influx of samples allowed for a quick diagnosis and certainly saved Texas livestock producers millions of dollars. In the late 70s, an unknown virus quickly infected and killed many dogs across the United States, causing panic among pet owners. In 1978, TVMDL identified the source, parvovirus.
So it was truly what we call a de novo, a new epidemic, a new disease that started in '78. And we would put these fecal samples that time on the electron microscope, and we saw parvoviruses.
TVMDL was the first laboratory to isolate parvovirus in dogs. The agency's discovery eased the minds of thousands of pet owners and veterinarians throughout the country and led to the production of a parvovirus vaccine, which has become a standard vaccination for dogs around the world. In February 2004, an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza was reported in a flock of 7,000 chickens in Gonzales, Texas.
We had the results for him by 11 o'clock. Texas Animal Health Commission got the results that same day, before lunch even. And so they were out to initiate their containment procedures right away and stopping it right there.
TVMDL was the first to diagnose the outbreak, the first of its kind in the United States in 20 years. During the outbreak, TVMDL received more than 500 samples a day. The agency's quick turnaround time allowed for fast diagnosis and containment of the disease, saving the Texas poultry industry millions of dollars in potential losses.
We're getting a brand new building. Everybody's very excited about that. We're very, very thankful to the industry and the legislature for supporting that effort to get this new building. It will give us some room to breathe and to expand further and to grow further, whether that's adding new testing capabilities, new subject matter expertise, whatever the case may be. 50 years from now, I think that the role that the diagnostic laboratory plays in the entire end-to-end spectrum of food production and protecting animal health and human health, I think will change drastically too. Instead of one-off diagnoses, we're able to help them see a more holistic answer that not only solves the diagnosis on a particular case that they send in, but really helps them move towards actions that are going to address the underlying problems that are contributing to those disease problems in the first place.
For the past 50 years, TVMDL has worked every day to protect animal and human health through diagnostics. From its early years of just a few thousand tests a year, to now over 800,000 tests annually, TVMDL has had and will continue to have a significant impact on Texas livestock, poultry, companion animals, wildlife, and zoo populations.
You're doing something that's actually useful to people day to day. Not just individual animal owners, but the industry as a whole.
TVMDL was considered, and probably still is, considered if you had a problem, you better get out there.
Tremendous mission to serve the people of Texas in a way that many times they don't understand how much is done for them, but maybe that's the way it should be if you're doing it right.